Well, in today's episode of Value in My Toy Collection, we're actually going to value some of our pageant collection. And we've got some really old vintage trophies from the Miss America and Miss USA pageants. Have a couple cool pageant paintings, and we have some crowns and pictures and other miscellaneous things like these beautiful dolls. So stay until the end of the video and see the grand total of how much everything is worth. Hey everyone, my name's Chris. I'm a full-time beauty pageant director as my career, but in my spare time, I'm a huge toy collector. I've been collecting toys now for over 40 years. You can officially call me a toyaholic. Thanks so much for checking out my YouTube channel. My channel consists mainly of two things: beauty pageants, which I love, and toys, which I love even more. My dream in life has always been to own a toy museum. So it's finally happened. I've bought a building, and now I've got to move this massive collection and value it into the building. We're calling it the Toy Vault because it's an old bank building located in Crystal Springs, Mississippi that actually has two large vaults. So now I'm just going to make a ton of videos and value my toy collection, and then I'm going to make some where I take you shopping with me to thrift stores and flea markets and toy stores to let you see where I find all these goodies. So let's start this episode of Value in My Toy Collection and value some toys. So let's jump right in and start valuing these treasures from the world of beauty pageants. First, we have this painting with Asia Branch, Miss USA 2020 in her Court of Honor, worth about $50. I have a painting of Courtney Gibbs, Miss USA 1988. It's worth about $35. And a painting of Asia Branch, Miss USA 2020, worth about $40. Had this really cool Miss America vintage bicycle, and it's worth about $300. Then we have just some beautiful crowns. These are some crowns we've been giving away at some of our pageants, and probably worth about $30 each if you don't actually win them. And then we have a Mississippi-shaped crown that we've given away before, and it's worth about $25. Have this crown that's from the America's US pageant, probably worth about $30. And this gold crown you put on the wall, worth about $12. Now we've got some Miss America trophies. Now this first one is the Miss University of Arkansas preliminary trophy from 1969. And it's probably worth about $100, I would say. And then we have one that's a little bit smaller, and it's from 1961. It's a preliminary swimsuit winner trophy from the Miss North Carolina pageant, and it's probably worth about $100 as well. And I love how back then they would go back and engrave the winner's name on the trophies. Now we have these two trophies that are larger. These are worth about $125 each to $150 each. This one's from 1964. It's the Miss Lewis County trophy, and I'd say about $125 would be a fair value. That's about what they go for on eBay, sometimes up to about $150, but usually about $125. And then this one is Miss Stevens Point, and it's from, let's see if I can read that, 1968, and also worth about $125. Now this is one of my favorite pieces in my pageant collection. It's the third runner-up trophy from 1982's Miss USA pageant. These are impossible to find. They're super rare. They never come up for auction. And I talked to one of my pageant friends that knows the value of all of this, and he said minimum it's worth about $2,000. So I was pretty excited to hear that, but I don't think I'd sell it. It's too cool. Now here's a different Miss America trophy. This was a Miss Congeniality trophy at a local pageant with a 70s style, and it's worth about $65, I would say. I love how the different decades had different styles. And then this one is engraved the America's Junior Miss program. So it's not really a beauty pageant. It was always more of a scholarship pageant, and that's their logo on the top, probably worth about $65. Then I got this one from the Miss America pageant, and it's worth about $50. It's the newer one. This award was actually presented to Miss Universe 1996 in Singapore, and I got it off eBay. Someone had bought out a storage locker, and it had all of her awards in it, so it's worth about $200. I've got a framed limited edition Miss Mississippi print, and it's professionally framed, and it's worth about $150. This is a painting of the mural that's on the flood walls in Vicksburg, Mississippi. We have a scene depicting the Miss Mississippi pageant. Now, this is really cool. This is a canvas print by Bill Bell. It's of Atlantic City and the Miss America Parade. And it's really detailed. It's really cute. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I think it's worth at least $50, but I think I paid a little bit more than that for it. So it could be worth a lot more than that, but it was really hard to find online for a comparison. Got this Vanessa Williams giant pillow that's pretty cool. Probably worth at least $20. And then my pageant is called the Miss Magnolia State pageant. We have a Magnolia State neon sign worth about $25. I have a little Miss Magnolia State crown from back in the day, probably worth about $50 to some collectors. And we have a couple more really cool crowns that we gave away at local pageants, and I'd say to crown collectors, they'd be worth at least $30 each. Then we have some custom-made dolls. Now, we paid about $400 for all of these, but I'm going to value these at about $300. That one's Michelle Royer, Miss USA 1987, and the doll designers copy their dresses and make these really nice dolls. This is Carol Gist, Miss USA 1990. She was the first African-American girl to be crowned Miss USA. And then we have Olivia Jordan. I think she was 2015. She was from Oklahoma, and I really liked her dress. That's why I got that one made. And then we have our Miss USA from Mississippi from 2020, Asia Branch. And this one's also worth about $300. They're all worth about $300. That's what I'm going to value them at. I have a couple more. We have Miss Universe. I think she was 2017, Catriona Gray from the Philippines. Worth about $300. They did a great job on her gown. They used little Swarovski crystals to make that lava gown. And this was Miss Universe. Oh my God, my memory is going bad. She was Miss South Africa, and her dress was just amazing. That's why I got that doll made. And this one's a giveaway just from the dress. Miss America 1984, Vanessa Williams, worth about $300. And such a great doll. They did a really good job copying her dress. All right, here we have a replica of the Miss World crown. I had it custom made because I just wanted one. It's one of the prettiest crowns, worth about $100. And then we have this little crystal dish or candle holder. I'm not sure what it is, but it was a thank you gift given to the national directors from the Miss Universe pageant. It has their logo etched in it with a thank you message. It's probably worth about $75. Now, this is another super rare piece I've picked up over the years. It's a semi-finalist trophy from the 2000 Miss Teen USA pageant that was held in Shreveport, Louisiana that year. Now, I don't know if it's glass or crystal. I think it's crystal, but I had my pageant friend appraise it for me, and he said he thinks it's worth about $2,500. It's that rare and that hard to find, so I was pretty excited about that. So I'm going to value it at $2,000. Then we've got all this stuff from the Miss High School United States pageant that my niece was in. It really doesn't have any value. We're going to say about $10 for all of it just because it's kind of cool. But we probably spent thousands going to that pageant, and she was pretty successful. She won the overall evening gown award, the overall fun fashion award, and she ended up placing first runner-up at the national pageant. Miss Pennsylvania won, who was the interview winner. But it was a good experience for us. And then she went to International Junior Miss one year as her first pageant she went to nationally. Got this Miss America sign. It's worth about $10. Got this Arkansas license plate. It is worth about $50. This Miss USA license plate from New Mexico is worth about $35. Then we have this metal Miss Mississippi sign worth about $20. And the Kansas license plate's worth about $40. And the Oklahoma one is really hard to find. It's worth about $75. We've got a couple of the New York Post magazines or newspapers, we should say, about when Vanessa Williams had to give up her Miss America title. And we have two of these, and they're worth about $20 each. Look at that at the bottom. Geraldine Farrar running for vice president. All right, then we've got some CBS official publicity photos of the Miss USA and Miss Universe. These black and white photos, they have CBS on the back. They're worth about $15 each. And I really like these because it had the current Miss USA with the reigning Miss Universe, and the Miss USA was trying to compete at that pageant to win. Now, the colored photos, they're worth about $10 each because they're not official CBS photos. So I think the color ones are all worth about $10 each. And then the black and white ones, again, are worth about $15 each. But I love these photos. They did these mainly in the 70s and 80s. And I think they did some in the 90s. And then I think they quit doing them. So I think the heyday for pageants when they were the most popular and most glamorous were probably the 70s and 80s. And I think the American public started losing a little bit of interest in the 90s and 2000s. But luckily in our state of Mississippi, they're still super popular and our girls love a good pageant. Now, I was in high school and I really started getting interested in Miss USA. I remember watching it this year when Michelle Royer was competing for Miss Universe. She got second runner-up, and then Cecilia Boloco won this year in 1987 when Michelle Royer was competing. I got to meet her in person at the Jidney Jungle Food Festival. Now, here's one that was done in the 90s with Lupita Jones as Miss Universe. All right, we have an autographed copy of a photo of Carol Morris, who was Miss Universe in 1956, but that autograph has her married name, so that was after she won, probably a few years, probably worth about $15. I have this 1954 magazine cover with Miss USA and Miss Universe on the cover, and it's probably worth about $20 as well. And then we have this magazine cover with Miss Universe 1965 from Thailand on the cover with Miss USA from Ohio, and it's probably worth $20. And they've got this really cool piece. I'm going to put it at about $50. It's Karen Morrison, Miss USA 1974, but it's got one of her official note cards or thank you note cards back then, which is hard to find. And then she wrote this really sweet note to someone that I guess requested a picture and sent her recipes on how to make certain foods or something. But it's just a personal note card that stuff's just lost in history. So I figure it's worth at least $50 framed like that. And then I had a couple credenzas we're going to move to the pageant room in the toy museum, and they're worth about $100 each. I'm just trying to value everything. So in our previous 468 videos of value in my toy collection, our total was $1,180,375. Now with this video, with all of our great pageant collectibles, we can add another $8,757 to our overall grand total. So that means for episode 469 of value in my toy collection, including my pageant collection, our new total is $1,189,132. Now, I always wanted to say my collection was worth $1 million, and now I finally can. But I don't think I'm really a millionaire. I think I'm more of a toyonaire because it's not cash money. But I've just been saving this stuff all my life, going to thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets, toy stores, and hunting little goodies like this online. And it's just accumulated to this big old total. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos as much as I am making them. I like to see what all I have and what it's actually worth. And I'm putting all the toys and collectibles online on our Facebook page, which is called the Toy Vault of Mississippi. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please think about doing so because it really helps us grow. So until our next video, we will see you then.